Good evening all and welcome to the ESL CSGO Pro League, where we've already had some absolute stonking games this week, and I'm hoping for more of the same tonight. My name is Dan Gaskin, joined again by Jackie, and they have been some good games. We've had ups, we've had downs, we've had upsets, and we've had comebacks, but they've been some pretty juicy ones. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been all over the place throughout the first couple of days of Season 5, and how better, how much more could you ask for to kick this one off with a bang? There's been some ridiculous upsets, as you were saying, going into the first day. The second day, some huge comebacks as well. And NIP struggling, I think, is the biggest storyline. But after we've had all those results, let's see what the standings are currently looking like in Season 5 here in the Pro League. You can see at the top, after those results yesterday, Mouse 3-1. They took one map off Astralis in the opening day on Tuesday as well. So it's looking very good for them, Jackie.
Yeah, this is a good thing as well, coming into that, touching on Mouse Sports, the fact they're now at the top of the table with that 3-1 after 2 exciting days of CS in Season 5. It's quite a big talk point as well, because we recently just noticed that Nico will actually be departing from the team after DreamHack Las Vegas. That'll be his last LAN event with the unit before he departs, and actually moves into FaZe, a team that has been struggling, currently placed 3rd so far in the table, tied 2nd place there with Astralis almost. And it's the fact as well, FaZe was struggling on their online games. They have been having really shaky online performances. They nearly actually got beaten. Well, it looked like it was going to be a very swift game for Heroic yesterday, but FaZe were able to bring it back halfway through. But this is the thing, going into that lineup, Nico could definitely bring a lot more stability in there. Jacob has been playing well for them. He's been playing as sort of the stand-in man whilst AZ's been departed. But yeah, FaZe, that is quite interesting to see Nico joining that lineup, if that will give them the extra bit of glue they need to actually start posting some good online results once again.
And then we continue a little bit further down the table. Kinguin, just 2-0 at the moment. Obviously, they had that great result early on Tuesday, and now I think they play VP today, so a big one for them. If they can continue making upsets and just stay at the top of that table, that's going to be great for them after getting promoted from the Premier last season. And you see Heroic and Navi underneath them with 2-2 as well. North had some good results yesterday, but Fnatic, and this is something I really want to talk about, 0-2, Jackie. I don't think we were expecting that.
Yeah, obviously this is the thing, Fnatic coming in there, it looked like a strong lineup. It's that return to form, as they've sort of, they've got the old guard back together. The boys are back in town and they're trying to cause a bit of havoc. They looked fantastic on the IEM qualifiers, but they couldn't quite squeeze out their first fixtures here in week 1 of Pro League. Unfortunate for them, but then again, it is a freshly reformed team. They do have those dominant players, and they have a lot of gel just between them in terms of synergy. They've all played together for a long time, and it's that lineup that fans have been asking for a while, finally back together. So this is the thing, a good result coming out. But is this going to be where now Fnatic, back to the drawing board, will then swiftly come back in week 2?
Yeah, speaking of back to the drawing board, you can see NIP there, 0-4 at the moment. Very much struggling. They don't have any more games this week, so they do have now a little bit of time to practice and shift. And then we do have LDLC, we have EnVy and Hellraisers all playing today. They haven't played yet so far this week, so it'll be interesting to see how they kind of progress in their first week in Season 5. But let's have a look at what games are going to be happening in Pro League today. You've got over on the mainstream, it's Virtus Pro versus Kinguin, as I spoke about earlier. A really interesting one. Kinguin got a chance to kind of upset their Polish rivals, and then EnVy versus G2 as well. G2 having their first games in the Pro League as well as EnVy. But first of all, we get EnVy on our stream against FaZe, and then later on LDLC versus Hellraisers. And EnVy versus FaZe, I mean, this is going to be a good one. We're going to see more of FaZe yet again. This is going to be their 5th and 6th game today, I believe. So they started off quite weak and they were looking a bit shaky, as you said, but now they have come back into things. And do you think with that news of Nico possibly joining later, is that a little bit of a boost for them?
Possibly so. Obviously, that would have been going on behind the scenes, and it shows obviously what was in their minds after they had that departure, and they've been trying to work it out. Jacob was coming in as that stand-in, and it just sort of seemed like something was off. We said their online results looked shaky, and this is the thing, it doesn't even explain the performance they had early on yesterday going up against Heroic, where they were just getting absolutely pounded on. It was a huge half on Overpass, went to the region of 10-5 to Heroic before FaZe were just able to finally get something behind them. And a lot of that came down to Alu just all of a sudden starting to step up.
He was disgusting with his AWP, but as I said several times, I just needed to take a shower. It was that dirty. And then we've also got Scream on the side of EnVy, and there was a little bit of a possibility of him joining FaZe, wasn't there?
Yeah, this is the thing. That's kind of one of the big plot points behind it as well with that storyline, is going into that EnVy versus FaZe game. it's huge because Scream was sort of, you know, planning to join that FaZe roster, decided against it in the end. He's now back with EnVyUs, so it's going to be FaZe sort of going in there like, right, we want to show you what you could have had. They're going to bring that aggression, sort of, you know, a little bit of a grudge match moving into that one.
And Envy have had quite a lot of changes since the last major. I mean, talk me through their current roster, or the roster we're predicting them to be having today, because obviously no MBK, obviously he was back on Envy quite a long time ago, but now we've got a fresh kind of lineup.
Yeah, because that's the thing. There's now the two sort of newer French teams after the big shuffle around. It's happened once more. And G2 then moved over. You got MBK over on there. You've also got the first time in CSGO for a very long time that Shox and Kenny S are going to be coming together. They've always been separated. They've never been on that same lineup. And now finally we're going to see what damage they can prove. But that's on G2, whereas on EnVyUs, it is going to be the lineup of Sixer. Happy, obviously, he's sticking with EnVyUs, he's still going to be representing the organisation. He was the IGL/Lurk. You know, there was always a lot of discussion around Happy because he was quite aggressive in some of his decision making. You always saw that sort of force till you lose potential coming out of EnVyUs in a few of their matches where it was, you know, sort of very aggressive decision making. And then moving on as well, RPK, XMS and Scream. RPK is someone for me that I still feel like has a ridiculous abundance of talent. I was always a big supporter of him. He was fantastic back in Counter-Strike Source, and I feel like he's only just sort of, you know, I don't know, earlier towards the end of last year, he started to really get back to his peak for me. I feel like he was working his way back on stat fantastically. Scream as well, though, another one of these talents that you know can do the damage, but I feel like with Scream, it's just, there was too much of that playstyle where he still wants to just go for this tapping style of CS. He has adapted slightly and become a little bit more fluid, but yeah, I don't know if Scream actually limits himself due to his preferred playstyle, but he is a fantastic player in what he does. It
was interesting with the whole, the French shuffle, we'll call it, between Envy and G2, and neither of them then qualified for IEM, so that's going to be very detrimental for their spirit. So then Pro League becomes very interesting for them. It can be one of their focuses, so perhaps Envy now need to press on and try and do something here. Map 1 is going to be Train today between these two teams, and we did see FaZe yesterday beat Heroic. I think it was 16-7 on Train. Just when we thought FaZe were down and out, we had counted them out of Overpass when they were 10-1 down. They came back, won at 19-17 in overtime, and then in Train they looked like a completely different side than what we'd seen the previous day and even just a few hours before. What kind of changed for them, and what was so successful, do you think, for them on Train?
Well, this is the thing, you know, it was a lot different to what we expected to see because they were just getting sort of pummeled. You know, they were in a bit of a rut. It wasn't looking too fantastic, and then all of a sudden they just had this fantastic sort of resurgence where they were able to work their way back into the game. And you know, looking at those results into that's the thing with FaZe. If we touch on them with that, because it looked odd. You know, like consistency wasn't there, especially on day one. They just looked defeated. Even before the game started, you know, getting into it straight away, there was just no real power behind them, no real drive, and they were just getting manhandled. You come into day two with that fixture up against Heroic, and it seemed like it was the same old story. They were just getting completely punished. Heroic were hitting all of their shots, they were looking on point, and then Kiyoshima started to turn the tide a little bit.
For sure, yeah. And is there going to be some sort of advantage for FaZe because they've already played 4 maps in Pro League, and obviously we've got Envy who are now coming into it. It's their first games of Pro League. I'd like to think they're well practiced and they're kind of warmed up, but there is something to say that perhaps FaZe have a small teeny-weeny advantage. They're kind of getting used to it. They've dipped their toes into the water slightly.
Yeah, but this is the thing with FaZe, you know, they've been in a lineup for a lot longer because obviously this Envy lineup now has no results tied to them at all. They haven't really achieved anything. They are newly formed. Obviously in the IEM qualifiers when they actually went up against G2 in a best of 3, they were bested out. It was a 16-3 score lineup against them on Dust 2, and it was 16-12 on Train. So obviously new team versus new team, but G2 were just proving to be a little bit superior going into that. They don't have too much in their playbook yet, as obviously they are still going to be trying to get everything together, just rehearsing, just getting it all down, trying to get as much practice in as possible. So going into that, definitely FaZe has more structure. They have that playbook. Sure, it looked shaky for them with their online results recently, but it looked a whole lot better yesterday. It seemed like everyone started to wake up, and hopefully just off the basis that they want to now start coming into this, getting the rest of the team ready, knowing obviously this is going to be the last couple of weeks we'll have with Jacob before Nico will join the team after DreamHack Las Vegas. Then this is where they're going to want to try and snap up a few more results, try and work their way through into it. And I'd say just in terms of teamwork, they definitely should have the upper hand in this matchup.
I'd like to think so. I think you touched on it yesterday. You said it was like the FaZe of old. They just came back into the swing of things a little bit. And we saw how dominant they were on Train in the end, and that was thankful to things like Aluzorp and Kiyoshima on T side as well. Where are we going to see those kind of elements come out from Envy? Who are going to be the key players that we really need to look for that are going to be able to contest, for example, Aluzorp?
Well, you're going to have a lot of sort of flashy plays coming out from them. Obviously, this is the thing as well that we said. Scream is one of those highlight players. He's always been, you know, ridiculously high head props percentage. This is just how it's been throughout year in, year out. So many highlight clips from the player. He is one of those, you know, star fraggers. He has so much potential behind him. It would just be interesting to see how he's utilised and if Scream actually performs to, you know, what is sort of a higher standard. We need to see him really come in and sort of fire off from all cylinders. We can't see, you know, 50% power Scream. He really needs to go full Super Saiyan out into this matchup, and then we'll see a lot coming from him.
Can he go full Super Saiyan?
Definitely so. You know, he is one of these explosive players. This is what Scream's always done for years.
Have you got full Super Saiyan?
Possibly. That's what I've been working on.
I've been wanting to say that for so long, and you just fed it to me. It's going to be a really interesting one on Train, and then once that's done, we move over to Dust 2, and I believe it's actually going to be the last time we will ever see Dust 2 in, well, Season 5 of Pro League, I think, because I think it gets removed next week. It's not on the mainstream, so it's just here. Last game of Dust 2 will be very exciting. Is it going to be a case of whoever wins Train wins Dust 2 because they're warmed up, they're hitting their shots, or do you have a preference for either of these teams over on Dust?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. If we look at the result there up against G2 coming out from EnVy, that was a 16-3. Obviously, newly formed lineup versus newly formed lineup. It's going to be quite explosive. It was very volatile in that game. It was a lot of aggression, and we saw Kenny S and Shox really popping off together. They work in like a dynamic duo that was able to really just hurt EnVy in a lot of ways. It crippled them, and they weren't able to work their way through that with much to say the least. I mean, 3 rounds isn't fantastic. Whereas FaZe, we've seen them had good. They've had good results in Dust 2 in the past, and it just depends if they're able to hit their shots. If we see them coming in like they were yesterday, once again early in the morning, where it just seemed like everything was a little bit slow. They weren't able to find their way into it. They weren't hitting their shots, and they were warming up one by one because it was like a slow load. We saw Kirishima come in first. All of a sudden, he was starting to hit frags. Then we saw Alu start to pick it up. Then Karrigan came into the mix, and then Rain came into the mix. And it was just sort of slowly everyone starting to get their confidence back. We just need to see them like they played on Train, where it was just dominant. Everyone was on the ball, everyone was hitting their shots, and they worked together as a unit. I mean, communication just seemed off for a good at least 20 minutes of that first game yesterday before they finally snapped out of it. When, guys, how are we losing this?
Yeah, I think I have to kind of favour FaZe here over EnVy, but I'm hoping EnVy can at least make a game of it. But whilst we are waiting for the players to get on the server, how about we take a look back at some of the best highlights from 2016 with the 2016 Rewind.
Smoke this over still. Fast play. Very fast play. There it is. Oh my gosh. And G2 certainly has to be convinced. It might be the absolutely perfect round. Nice shot on Firm. Hit the ground and Taco low in HP. Easy to pick up again. It's all on Shox. He picks up one in overtime. Here looking for the shot. Shox gonna pick up one more. Triple wave. Oh, yes, the quad kill. Are you kidding me, Shox?
That's going to be volleyed off. This gives away the indication, though. They should know he's here. They do with the knife. CW! He goes through!
In the same place there. Simple just jumping. Into the side. He's going to fall down again. Why is it so?
Snacks. Does find one. As he dances back and forth between the box. What a shot! What in God's name is that from Snacks? Karrigan drops him and falling. Returns back on. Takes a second as well. And a third. That's going to be the point to go there. Oh, what are you doing?
These opening smokes are going to. They are putting one down at the very start of this round, but it's Config just greeting the edge. Oh, he switches up! Config!
They're going to move in, and once again, very quickly, they try to score. They're going to quick shut down time after time again. Automatic!
The left side. First shot's very easy. Knows that they're on the right. Lovely shot and get right with the aim.
Challenging towards Connector. Sick shot from Kenny, and again.
The opponents were being that passive style, but now you can see Scream doesn't care anymore. Scream's doing it out of respect. 4 quick tech shots and the ace.
That's beautifully done. That is sick.
That last shot's actually quite hard to look at, with NIP winning that major just a few months ago, and now they seem to be falling apart in very much a rout, an NIP rout. There is no NIP dripping from the sky right now. I think it's something like a 7-match loss streak they're on now, so that's something they really need to turn around, but our focus at the moment is Envy versus FaZe, and we've spoke a little bit about Train and about Dust 2, and I've got your thoughts on the players, but let's get to the serious nitty-gritty stuff. Let's talk about predictions then. If we're going into Train, can you give me a scoreline, and why do you think you're going to go for that scoreline?
Honestly, getting into Train between these two lineups, I feel like you have to give it to FaZe just because they performed quite well yesterday. Heroic looked very dominant earlier on in the in the week when they were playing out against NiP. Sure, NiP have their own internal problems. It hasn't been fantastic for them, so it's not that wild of a result, but it's still a good upset. And Heroic looked very structured. Their Train was nicely thought out. They didn't overextend at all. Everything was played by the book, and it looks like a very effective Train hold. Whereas FaZe, someone that was struggling massively, and you could see how that was affecting them in their first few matchups, then getting into that were just able to tear them out of the water and were just going for these huge plays. I mean, you remember the takes towards the A-bomb site where they were just able to walk out, instantly pick up 1 or 2 frags every round for free, and there was nothing that Heroic could do. Once FaZe got the wind on their wings again and they started actually playing how they play to their strengths, because they do have impact fraggers. They are just this abundance of talent just all packed into this tight roster, just forcing them in there, and they're trying to burst out and show what they can do, and they did that. They played to their strengths, were just able to rip their way through, whereas on the other side, Envy, they were struggling when they were playing against G2 on Train. Things looked a little bit sloppy. They haven't been able to screw everything down quite yet, as they haven't had enough time to practice it and get it all out by the book, and they're just not as structured. They just haven't had enough time to be. So really getting into it, you have to give it to FaZe just in terms of how long they've been together. And how much of a golfing difference do you think it's going to be? Something like a 16-7 that we saw yesterday, or do you think it's going to be a tighter affair? Obviously, T-side or CT side first can make a big impact to the final scoreline, but what are you thinking? Yeah, obviously there's a lot of factors going into it and how this one is going to go. I do think FaZe are going to peak out ahead, but there is potential for a close matchup. Obviously this EnVyUs lineup does have a lot of talent once again, but I just think it's probably going to be in the region of a 16-9, somewhere around there. Yeah, okay, and then moving across to Dust 2, how do your predictions follow into that one? It's the same sort of scenario once again. I feel like Envy have more of a chance actually on Dust 2 because they can be a little bit more flamboyant, but then I say that, they had those 3 rounds they got off G2, We haven't got much to base this off because this lineup just hasn't done too much at all. It will just be practice that they've been working on behind the scenes, but FaZe definitely I'd probably once again have to go for, but that's enough talking about Dust 2 down as we're jumping into the action here on Train. Jumping into Train, FaZe going to be on that T side first off. We saw what a dominant T side they had yesterday on Train. They really overran their opposition, as now Rainier's going to push in, see if he can find anyone onto bomb Train. Just tapping away, can't find anyone just yet. Gets greeted by 2 members of Envy, and that's going to be opening frags going there. But Kirishima and Jacob come in and get 2 of their own. Screamy does pick up 1 though, so now they've got the advantage, just leaving Jacob on his own. There are a couple of weak members, so if he can play his cards right, he's still in this, but he can't play his cards right. He'll have to fold as Screamy picks up yet another, and a strong start from Envy. FaZe tried to burst out, they tried to get onto that site, but there was just 2 waiting on bomb Train, and I think that surprised them. Yeah, it caught them off guard, and they were able to actually rip their way through. Nicely played into that round. It's a huge pistol round to kick it off, but you can see, look at FaZe trying to respond here with Alu, just the only person not going to go for the deagle. Nearly a deco round coming out, as they want to try and take that aggression, see if they can just blast their opposition away. We know all these players are very talented with these hand cannons, but can they actually land the shots is going to be the important question. It is crazy how the Deagles kind of really come back into play this year. It did fall out of a little bit of favour for some people, but now everyone's just going for it as Rain does pop in and finds the opening one. Finds a second on just Screamy. Absolutely disgusting stuff. If he can carry on doing that, and they are well and truly back in this round. They do have the advantage now, and Jacob just trying to push up Ivy. Can't find anything just yet, as Happy will eventually take down Rain, so no more Deagle headshots for him. That was a massive way to kick off the round. EnVyUs are going to respond though, racking up a bit of cash, and actually more importantly picking off some of those FaZe members is going to be Happy dealing with damage, but Jacob takes down Sixer as he is going to punish him with that Deagle. Kirishima as well, grab that rifle that was left so leisurely on the floor after we saw that initial frag coming up, and finds a kill with it. Alu is going to get the bomb planted, and it falls just on RPK. He's trapped over by Connector, diddling around by the A site. We'll have to reposition, but with just an MP9 in hand and a 1 versus 3, can he really achieve anything here? This is going to be really difficult. So much on his shoulders here, and this was a round that basically Rain was able to open wide and just allow FaZe to crawl on in. You can see all members just waiting at upper.
Kiyoshima's going to be the first point of defense, and he is going to get sprayed down, but he's very low. Eventually gets taken down, and there's so much for RPK to do here. Does find an M4, but they're just going to be hiding away, and he's not going to be able to do much. Eventually just going to back off, save that M4, and an incredible, well, as you said, a deco round for FaZe there.
Yeah, nicely played from them. They were just able to use their time in. It was just smart positioning. They just held their angles, waited for EnVyUs to slightly peek, get a little bit angry, and were just able to pick them off so easily. You can see here as Rain, this was the big opener. That was just massive. These initial 2 frags just torn everything apart, gave them so much to play with, and then once Jacob got another pick over towards Ivy, it was essentially as good as done.
This is what we spoke about yesterday as well, just the sheer confidence from FaZe. As soon as they found it, they were happily waddling into the site and getting those opening frags, and it was just really hard to contest for Heroic, and I wonder whether EnVy are going to find themselves in a similar situation where they just can't handle that relentless pressure from these incredible FaZe players.
RPK just playing for information here. Over towards that B-bomb site, wants to try and work out what is going on before he backs off. You can see the rotate now as well to try and help him out a little bit. That'll be Happy coming over. And the burst will unfold for FaZe. They're going to go in dry as they slip in towards the bomb site, rattling off a couple of shots. Rain will be the one to take down RPK. Are they going to be aware of the positioning of Happy though? They have spotted him out, and they're going to try and get the frag off onto him. Teamwork coming out. XMS will be flashed into the site, but couldn't connect the shot. Scream will take down one onto Carrigan before he's traded off, and it just falls to Sixer. A Deagle and a Dream. But he will be dreaming now as he's put to sleep.
Yep, no crazy things happening with the Deagle for EnVy this time, and again, FaZe just confidently walking onto B site there. They didn't even need the utility to do so. They were more than happy to just take their angles, check, be a little bit patient, and then as soon as they noticed they had kind of free roam, that welcome mat as you always speak of, they then pushed in and got that bomb down. As EnVy will have to eco once again. A real big shame after winning that pistol. Not going to be what they would have wanted to... how they would have wanted to start train, as Carrigan is just going to flash his way into Ivy. No one's going to aggressively push him just yet, though, so he is going to continue bombarding here. Down to Ivy, will be greeted by Sixer. Does take him down through the box as well. Needs to check left, though. He gets smoked off, so now he can just walk through and see if he can find anyone else. And that's just 2 left now. RPK and Screamy should be a formality here, Jackie.
Yeah, Scream, as he works his way around behind, is going to try and get the drop on him. If you can go for a backstab, potentially just get a weapon out of this scenario. Taps off a couple of shots, but Kiyoshima will take him down. Unfortunate for EnVyUs there, and that's the thing. Sure, you pick up that pistol round, but that instant reset is just so damaging. It's such a punish that comes out, and FaZe did fantastically to do so. Now I'm going to upgrade as well. Ali will don the AWP now, and you can see the effects of the cash flow over on EnVyUs though, as they don't actually have an AWP on their side. Little bit of limited utility as well, and they have the FAMAS over on XMS, so they are just going to have to try and play this a little bit slower. Alu. See that balls-to-walls playstyle, though, as he just bounds out straight away. Doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, we saw what he did yesterday with the AWP. He's trying to do more of the same. As you said, a very aggressive angle here. Will he be able to find anyone on IV? He's got support as well. Raze and Carrigan coming from behind now, and they are going to attack this A site. And Range is going to push through this smoke that is slowly dissipating. Scream gets the opening one. Carrigan does respond, and trying to get the spray down range, which eventually does onto Sixer. And we're into a 3v3 now. Jacob just trying to back up Alu. Alu's still trying to find that frag with his AWP. Just biding his time. Doesn't want to give it away as RPK comes with the backstab. Finds one. Finds Jacob as well. And now it's just left onto Alu. And he doesn't have a clue where RPK is. And EnVy do put one on the board after their buy. And that's just fantastic work coming out of pop like that.
Yeah, that was huge from RPK. That was so awkward as well from FaZe there. RPK basically just in the shooting gallery at that point as he went line from line, just spamming each individual member down, and they didn't react. Alu, the only one that tried to reposition to actually punish him and got destroyed. It's a great round from RPK. That's exactly what they needed, a little bit of moment of individuality shining through.
And now Sixer does have an AWP. And I wonder whether he's going to be able to take down Alu. Alu, who was so sublime with it yesterday, wasn't able to do anything in the last round, but he was kind of caught off guard. No one really showed for him. Wasn't able to find that angle. He's going to be smoked off there as well, so isn't going to find anyone just yet. As Rain just taking this sheer aggression once again. He's got backup from Kiyoshima, and we saw what he did yesterday, but Scream is going to be just hiding here, and Zed gets one, can't find the second though, as Alu takes down XMS with the AWP. And now FaZe have the advantage.
Yeah, they've got the numbers advantage here as they slip their way into the site. They are going to try and get that bomb planted. They have time to play with. Sixer will equalise things though. Takes down Kiyoshima with a nice little shot with the AWP. Jacob attempts to reposition to get the drop on them as they start to use that utility push in. Nice teamwork on display so far from EnVyUs, but can they find these frags? They need to try and do damage here. Take these 1 versus 1s and look at the positioning of Jacob. This is key as he waits, biding his time, playing around the smoke. Will pop out, but Alu will do the damage instead. He does get the drop on RPK. Happy finds the frag off on towards Rain. Jacob lands the tag, but can he convert it into the frag? Of course he can. Takes him down.
Great communication from Jacob and Alu there. You can clearly see he was just waiting in that smoke. He heard the information, he heard the footsteps, and he just conveyed that over to Alu, who was able to pick up the kill with the AWP, and then that's when he burst through smoke to finish it off. And FaZe continuing really their form from yesterday. I was a little bit worried when they lost the pistol, but the fact that we were able to win that second round has really enabled them to get back into this game now, 4-2 up, as there is going to be a pause coming through, I presume, from Envy. We'll get confirmation as to which team that was from, but that backstab from RPK, I mean, just being able to drop into pops so easily, yes, okay, you have to be confident to do so, but if no one's going to be checking it, then why not?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. That's the thing. He was able to just slide his way through into the site, pick up that 3K, just 1 by 1, just peeking all angles as he just slowly strafed along. Just really odd they didn't react to that, but yeah, still a fantastic play from the man. It was the only way they were going to pick up that round, and it was a great way to do so.
And is there any point at where Envy start to maybe predict, because FaZe have constantly been going A, like they're saying, well, whatever about B site, they went there once on that off round, but they are clearly pushing towards A. They're getting very confident. Does a stack come out at all for Envy? Do they start to draw maybe 4 and just leave 1 over at B?
I mean, it depends on the sort of scenario in terms of the economy, like of how they want to go for like RPK as well. You know, he's sort of been playing a fairly lax style towards that B-bomb site, where basically you just hold play for information. Not been going too overly aggressive, but he's not felt the need to do so just yet. Karrigan as well. He's going to go for the Mac 10 so we can try and rack up some extra cash into this round, as it will be aggression going out towards Popdog.
And then we have the 4 members on A, as you said, because of the economy. As Scream picks up the opening one onto Jacob. Jacob tried to drop down Pop, but he was punished as Happy finds one for himself as well, onto Karrigan. And now it's a 4v3, and Envy somehow have made this work. They just caught FaZe off guard. Maybe FaZe got a little bit too overconfident. And now they're going to try their luck at B site instead here.
As you can see, though, a bit of a lull across the battlefield as they start to slow down. They don't want to go too overzealous here. They just need to bide their time, as they're not in a great situation. They are outnumbered. EnVyUs obviously don't have the superior arsenal, but they've got some fantastic crossfires, and it's just a matter of time. Kiyoshima has to try and achieve something here as he picks his way out towards the A-bomb site.
Oh, but he gets picked off by Scream just on bomb train. He's just tapping away, see if he can find anything. XMS picks up one as well, leaving just Rain on his own. I mean, he's definitely capable of doing so as he picks up the first into Pop, looks across, and Scream gets yet another. The 3K, the triple for Scream there. Really important he was able to pick up that early kill and get an AK as a reward. And Envy right back into it. And this was what we saw actually in the opening games from FaZe originally when they lost to Kingwin. They were losing those rounds, though. They really shouldn't be, to be honest. They were losing against Ecos. They were struggling. They were just getting a little bit too overconfident with their pushes. And Envy just punished them there because they were able to push down Pop. And there was someone waiting, greeting them. And obviously it was probably a good shot with the Deagle as well to be able to do so.
But that's the thing as well. You now allow an AK in the hands of Scream on that CT side. He's so deadly with a weapon. You know how precise he can be when he goes to those tap shots, and he's just doing work as already into this round. He's going to take down Rain.
Alu trying to edge his way in. AWPless at the moment, but he's more than capable of getting kills with the AK as well, as Karrigan's also trying to fight his way through Ivy, through both smoke and flames. Left and right, XMS is going to hear that flash though and gets the spray down onto Karrigan. Easy stuff for him. Will he suspect a second one? No, he looks away as Jacob gets the kill there. And now Alu should push up onto green. Can he tag anyone as Heaven goes down, thankfully, from Jacob. So they're back into this round suddenly. Jacob's flashed off though, tries to spray through, can't see anything as Kyo gets the trade. So now, back to 2-on-2. A lot on Sixer with his AWP, but he's already been tagged down to 22 HP, Jackie.
Let's see what he can actually achieve, though. Happy will get eliminated as Kiyoshima reigns supreme with that AK. Sixer trying to bound around here with the AWP, has to reposition, finds his way on towards that B-bomb site. Alu will get the bomb planted. The angle is covered. If he can find the frag off on towards Kyo, there is still potential into the round for him. But it is going to be a hard fight. Slowly makes his approach up towards bomb train. He needs to get the drop on Alu here. Alu unaware that he is on that angle. Scopes in now. waiting, trying to get the drop on him, but it won't work out. Ali was able to just reposition, jumps on top of the train, and it's an easy pick and a free orb.
Great stuff from FaZe being able to push in and just doing well to trade, to be honest. Really bouncing off that buddy system, baiting and switching well. Yes, okay, they push through Ivy, and despite the entry going down, at least they always know they have that backup, that second entry to come through and get the trade efficiently. As it's an awkward buy for Envy now, just one M4. A couple of Deagles to work with. The Sixer is going to get aggressive onto Ivy. Can he find it? There is two members there, but Jacob gets the kill, but Scream comes through and uses that M4 to perfect use, finding two for himself. Chucks it back to a teammate and says, oh, I'll go pick up one of those weapons. He needs to be careful he's not going to get pushed himself. It looks like he should be able to grab them as Rain just going to walk into A site once again. He's always been able to get on very easily to the A site. It's whether he can do anything once he is there.
Yeah, Rain. He's going to get up into that nice little angle. Sick shot as he just flicks over, takes down XMS so quickly. And he's in a great position now as he slowly makes his approach towards Bomb Train. His teammates are going to clear the angles as well. Nice use of smoke there to zone out the CTs. They have time to play with RPK. He's waiting for the moment to strike. They are going to just try and go for this retake together, just converge on towards the bomb site. They have these weapons to play with. They have utility as well. The bomb now will go down.
So another round where they had a little money as Alu picks up the opening. Kiyoshima gets one as well, so all down to Happy. Does have an M4. Kiyoshima is very weak on bomb. If you can find him first, and he's still got a chance in this round, but every angle is covered as Rain picks up the final kill onto Happy, and FaZe put a 6th on the board, and Scream is performing fantastically. I mean, obviously there is a lot of pride on the line for him in this situation, Jackie.
Yeah, definitely so. Look at this though, this was huge. Rain, that elevated angle, XMS had the drop on him, but of course, Superior Arsenal was able to just flick his way around and land the shot. Nice opening to the round, and it all just got better from that point onwards. EnVyUs back once again, forced into these eco rounds. They proved to be a bit of a nuisance in their previous ones though, so I wouldn't count them out just yet.
I wonder whether FaZe are going to switch things up a little bit here to try and play around an eco, but they just burst onto the site anyway as Keo gets the opening onto XMS. Carrigan gets one for himself. Jacob does go down to 6er, but Keo is able to pick up yet another. Keo and Carrigan have just been doing disgusting things on those entries. RPK is going to come from behind once again, but this time he won't prevail, as Rain is always there to finish things off. 7-3 now in favour of FaZe. Envy need to buy up, try something a little bit different. I wonder, Jackie, do you think they should go for a slightly more aggressive approach on this A site? Maybe have someone towards Pop just so they can just get an angle on that A, and so it's not easy to push in for FaZe, because at the moment they're just being able to walk in uncontested. Yeah,
they're getting so much map control easy just off how dominantly they can be towards Pop. They just slide straight in, and it's all out aggression from FaZe as well. They've not had to worry about clearing as many angles as it's been sort of fairly standard CS for EnVyUs. They aren't adapting that much. They aren't really changing things up. So FaZe just know when to clear stuff. They know when to just go fast and work their way through quickly, and they've had to drop on EnVyUs multiple times because of this. They do change up their strategy now once again. They're going to be using that utility towards the B bomb site, smoking down, and they're most likely going for a bit of a late round push in. The bomb will be holding, and they'll just be watching out. They have the lurk as well, in case these players that are feeling a little bit confident on the side of EnVyUs try and come in from behind, and that will be XMS, the one to slip in. He has the angle, but what can he achieve with it as Jacob? Smart stuff. He's not going to get overzealous. We'll just be waiting, hoping that XMS is going to peek into him here.
And this is the thing, Envy know what FaZe have been doing every round, so they've switched things up a little bit, but right on time, FaZe have changed their strategy a little bit too, and they can bide their time because they know how quickly they can push onto a site when they want to, so they can wait for that 30-second mark. But is XMS going to get the jump on anyone here? Yes, he picks up Carrigan, can't find the second. Jacob gets the trade, but a nice early kill for XMS, and that's a lot of information had as Sixer. The big responsibility here, can get the spray down onto Jacob as well, so this is perfect stuff for Envy. A lot better of a round for them currently.
That was so important they got their opening frag. Nice boost coming out as well. Good teamwork as they allow Screamer to get into that vantage point. He takes down Kiyoshima and makes this situation even better for the side of EnVyUs. FaZe going to lose another member now as well as Alu gets punished. It just falls down to Rain. We know he can be dangerous with this AK-47, but with the positions of EnVyUs, it's going to be hard going up against Scream as well. The rifle guard as he just rips him down.
That's what Envy needed. They did just change their game plan a little bit. Yes, okay, FaZe allowed them to change it because they weren't rushing onto A site straight away. Because they went for that initial push towards B, it allowed Envy just to trickle their way up onto A site, get a little bit more control, and it did punish FaZe when they eventually changed their mind and went back to that A site.
Once once again as well. Aggression coming out. They seem like they will be going for that split push towards the A bomb site, the pincer play, as they approach Ivy. This dynamic duo. The angle is being watched. You can see Sixer scoped in, waiting for the peak to come towards him. But will he be able to find the frags here?
Good defensive Molotov though. Stop anyone rushing him just yet, but the smoke will come out to put the flames out. Scream gets the opening once again onto Allo. Allo hasn't had a chance to do anything with the AWP. He's really struggled so far in this game. Not the Allo that we saw yesterday, to be honest. But with FaZe still in control, he's certainly not going to be unhappy with his performance. But Scream at the moment has really been playing out of his mind. Really the highlight, the MVP currently for Envy. And as I say that, he picks up yet another onto Rain. And Rain's been doing real damage when he's been pushing onto that A site. So suddenly things become a little bit more difficult for FaZe. Not just being a man down, but losing a player with such brilliant entry ability is going to really detriment your round.
Jacob makes his approach around now to backlines as he wants to try and find this frag. Happy has the angle covered. A nice little headshot angle there as he's so far back. Really going to be awkward to try and land that shot as he just rips his way through. Sixer also takes down Kiyoshima and it just falls on towards Carrigan. A 1 versus 5 will claim 1, but the rest will punish him.
Now this is the situation for FaZe as well, where they're starting to realise that Envy are getting a little bit of a read on them. And they've sussed out their A-site pushes. They're setting up a lot better now. And FaZe with the eco have a chance to try something a little bit different, maybe try and surprise them at B, but better stuff from Envy, certainly. A lot of work done by Scream getting those opening picks as well. Doesn't seem to be missing with that AK currently.
No, so many fantastic shots have been coming out for him. He's been looking absolutely dominant into this matchup. FaZe, as you were saying as well, limited economy, so most likely we'll go for a bit more of an aggressive style of CS. XMS, though, will get the opener as he takes down Rain. Nice way to kick the round off. Scream is there as well, hoping, waiting. People are going to give him some targets to shoot at. And oh, that shot on towards Carrigan is just absolutely tasty. It was so filthy that he's gotten away with that.
Scream just doing filthy things as usual. He's going to continue tapping away in case anyone else wants to push onto A. They are going to get on easily though, but Jacob tries to go down pop and he's going to be punished. It's just Keo left now, just walking into his inevitable death. Death in the end. 7-6. But now money once again for FaZe to buy up. I wonder, Jackie, if they are going to switch things up now. I wonder whether they're going to go for perhaps some sort of B execute. Because it does seem like Envy have sussed them out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've actually started to counter their positions now. They know what they're doing. As well, forcing that economy to finally break. They had such a massive bubble. Everything seems stable for just far too long now. They've broken it. They're forced to finally get another buy back out. But play from RPK could be the difference maker. He's been so passive towards the B-bomb site. Surely they're not going to be expecting the aggression, and Kiyoshima will get caught off guard, gets taken down. Sixer as well does spot out the run boost. They've gone over towards Ivy. He is aware of their positions, but is he going to be able to make this round one better for the side as well, if they can get a second frag here early game?
Envy just seemed to switch it up just at the right time. A nice aggressive push did make Kiyoshima fall. And now Sixer trying to get any sort of AWP shot here at Ivy, but no one playing ball just yet, as Rain will find his way onto the site, finds one. Can he get a second onto Bomb Train? They're going to duck, weave, dodge, and just make sure they avoid any of those AK bullets, as Allu's going to push around, get some information for himself. Doesn't get the spray down, though, as XMS turns around, gets one of his own. Thankfully, Rain's there to get the trade, but RPK comes in to shut him down immediately, and it's just Carrigan on his own in a 1 versus 2. He's hiding in the smoke. I don't know if they know he's actually there. He might be able to get the jump onto Happy, which he does, turns it into a 1v1. RPK now knows he's there, but RPK is on Bomb Train. He may have just seen his head pop. No, he didn't. RPK finishes it off onto Carrigan. It's 7-7. Tied it up. Envy looked like they were struggling, but suddenly they've found their form at just the right moment, Jackie.
Yeah, nicely played here. As they really start to get dominant. You can see, finally, as well, they can get out this double AWP setup, which is so effective on Train. It's so easy to utilize these scopes, especially on that CT side, and it's something that you need. And this is a special advantage as well, going up against these pistols. They're so effective in close range combat, but if you can just absolutely obliterate your enemies from a distance quickly into the round, it's really going to help you out. Scream, aggression coming out towards Ivy, towards Pop Dog even. Can he actually throw a spanner into the works here, go for an aggressive push? Will he just be holding his own? Ooh, blind by that double flash. Jacob will slide through, picks him off, and straight away is going to retreat as well. XMS wanted to try and respond, but surely he can't find anything here.
Yeah, Knaus wants a little bit of the action for himself. Can see a toe, so he just peeks up, takes down Jacob. So Jacob, despite getting the early kill, won't have that M4, but I think his teammate's going to try and pick it up. Yes, it will be Kiyoshima. So now he drops down into pop and is going to confidently push through that smoke because Ali just gets whacked in the face by a flashbang. And there is a lot of utility to work with as Kyo picks one up onto Sixer. Just the 3 members left of EnVyUs as Happy pushes through, gets one of his own, but Rain and Alu come through, and it is just RPK. Somehow FaZe are doing this. RPK gets one onto Kiyoshima, but Rain comes in, and EnVyUs, well, they somehow fall in that round. But that is going to be half time, so we are going to take a short break. We'll be right back. So 8-7 in favour of FaZe after the first half. Slightly tighter than we probably expected, Jackie.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that it was actually going to be a little bit more dominant for FaZe, getting their way through that. They started off very fantastically. Obviously, EnVyUs picked up that pistol round. There was the straight reset instantly where we just saw how powerful FaZe can be with those deagles. They were just able to rip their way through them, start to tear them to shreds. But EnVyUs then started to get confidence behind them. I feel like a lot of that was just down to Scream being that one-man army. There was so much stopping power coming out from him, and so many just beautiful shots that allowed them to get the advantage in quite a few rounds.
Do you know who has been quiet? Alu.
Yeah, this is true.
There's going to be a chance now on the CT side. I mean, providing they get the pistol as well, if they get that early advantage, start building that bank balance, get an AWP in his hands, and is the Alu show going to start like yesterday? He started off slow yesterday, and then he came into the swing of things. Do we just need to see him have the money to do so?
Possibly, I mean, it is a massive factor with economy because they were stuck in a rut for quite a few rounds there towards the end, didn't really have enough to get the AWP out, and it was positions where normally we'll see Alu going for that more aggressive style of CS and getting those openers that he, he couldn't really excel at into those first few rounds. But on that CT half, holding an angle, once again, he's going to have the upper hand. They'll have to peek into him. He can just lock stuff down and go from there.
It seemed like FaZe were reluctant to kind of leave A site as well. Even when Envy were picking up these multiple rounds, they were still like, no, we're still going to hit it hard. We know we're well rehearsed. We know how to push onto the A site, so why not keep going for it? It has worked in the past. As long as we actually hit our shots, get our entries, then we're going to be able to take rounds. Now we're moving across. It's Envy's turn on the T side. We're going to be expecting more of the same, just the kind of default A site takes.
I don't know what they're going to have up their sleeve. Obviously, as I was saying, I don't know really what's in their playbook yet, as they're still quite new, still quite volatile. But the thing is, I feel like we're going to see a lot of aggression coming out, especially from Scream. You could see, once he's got an AK in his hand, there was a few rounds where he was able to scavenge one. It was straight back into it. Snap, you can see him just popping heads all over the place with these beautiful little flick shots, just one taps across the board. He's going to be the key man about getting into those bomb sites. We could see how effective he was playing. It seems like his team started to warm up around him towards the later rounds, but he was definitely the driving force.
And so where would you put Scream then? Because you say you haven't seen much of their playbook. Obviously, no one really has. They're a fairly new kind of team. If you were the coach, where would you be putting him? A site, B site? Where's the best place for him to hold? Because he's hitting a lot of shots right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Scream was looking on point. He was able to pick up quite a few frags going his way through there. Definitely, it just depends on what sort of strategy they're going to be working towards here. But yeah, Scream will be the one to watch with that. I'm not too sure what that actually brings to the table though. Because
you do find with like the kind of entry fraggers, they do have their favoured sites because they know their angles, they know where to predict. I mean, if Scream was holding A site so well before, then he's going to be thinking, right, okay, well, now I can just push in and I'm going to look here first, then I'm going to pre-fire here because they're the spots that I was standing.
Yeah. And
that's always the crazy things I find about some of these top players is their pre-firing is sublime, and really that's what sets them apart from the kind of mid-tier to low-tier CSGO players. Where do you think this is going? Because this is a really tight one. It's a very close game at 8-7. It's closer than we expected, as I said. Are EnVy very much still in this, but does it all rely on Scream, or are there anyone else that can kind of bring something to the table here?
No, definitely not. I feel like we need to see more from Sixer as well. You know, he is one of those driving forces. He has the AWP. He's the reason they're going to get these long-range openings and working his way through that. So we do need to see Sixer coming back into a bit of his own, start to land those AWP shots, warm himself up a bit, try and get his hands going and see what he can actually bring to the table. But yeah, I feel like FaZe definitely still have the upper hand here, but it is a close matchup.
And it's going to come down to that pistol once again. Who do you favour in the pistol round? There are some disgusting things we've seen happen already from FaZe with their pistol shots. Do you think it's going to lean towards them?
Yeah, probably so. You know, they've had a couple of rounds, even then when they're down in terms of economy, FaZe are always able to have these weird rounds where they'll pull it out just off the back of decos because they're so comfortable in those scenarios. They never seem out of it, even if they're forced into those eco situations, because they can just rely on that pistol aim.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to have, especially when you're on the CT side as well. After you've won that pistol or lost that pistol, if you can then move on to the next round and be so strong when you're in those eco rounds. And that's the thing, EnVy did throw a couple of rounds away, which I think they probably should have won, and it could have been a very different half on their side. And why were they struggling against those eco rounds from FaZe, do you think?
I think it was just sort of, you know, a matter of FaZe being able to pull off some crazy shots, especially from Rain. All it was is basically, you know, when he was sitting towards mid-main, just held the angle the entire time, waited for the peak to come out. We saw that first initial peak towards him from Scream, and he just responded just by dispatching them so quickly. You know, it wasn't a matter of them sort of over-facing too much, literally just going for standard peaks, but Rain was just able to obliterate them with a deagle, and it just opened up the round.
Moving into the second half now, as it is going to be an interesting one for EnVy on their T side. What have they got in their arsenal? What have they got in their playbook? Can they surprise FaZe as Karrigan's going to take the defense onto Ivy? Happy just pops a few shots through, tries to distract slightly as the rest of his teammates are edging their way towards B, or at least a couple are. XMS not making any noise either. Kiyoshima is ready just to jump up ladder if he does get any information as to whether there's someone upper. Certainly seems like they're hedging their bets towards B site though, Jackie.
Yeah, that aggression there early. They've got a little bit of utility left to play with as well. Sixer has that bomb. Sixer has that Molotov, sorry. So if they get that bomb planted, he can Molotov it off to at least ward them off, buy him a little bit more time to play with. Has the smoke, so he can smoke down ramp, and then they can burst their way out onto the site. And it seems like now will be the time as they make their push. Triple peek out. Are they aware of Kiroshima's position, though? He can be so damaging into this round as he fires away, but it'll actually be Karrigan and Alu to do the damage.
Yeah, the bomb hasn't gone down as well, so that just leaves Happy without a hope in hell, really. It's a 1v4. It's very difficult. He's getting close from both angles. Has to try and face Alu, but he's going to get shot in the back by Rain. And FaZe put a good, important round on the board for themselves. We said if they win the pistol, this could get out of control for them. Now they need to just move on from here, start building a bank balance, not throw this round away is what is important, as EnVyUs did after they won their pistol round in the initial half. Just need to be slow, not overextend, not get too confident, just allow EnVy to come to them.
Yeah, just take the fight one by one, just go for these slower, more passive rounds. FaZe, they're just rattling shots off. They're aware of the positions of EnVyUs here, just trying to pick them off, trying to force any confidence they have away.
And it was this situation in the first half where Rain picked up 2 kills with a deagle. He was the one that went off. Can anyone from EnVy do the same? As they're just being smoked off. FaZe playing this very smart, just delaying them as much as possible. Trying to frustrate them slightly as Karrigan not going to pick a fight, not going to go for any spray down through the smoke. Well aware that the boost can see over the smoke as well, as they are going to just push through Ivy now, 3 of them. They are going to be greeted by Karrigan. He's got a chance here to get a spray down on all 3, but he's going to look away at just the wrong time. No, he turns back. He's going to get caught with his pants down with a grenade out, and that always seems to happen as RPK gets the opening kill, and Happy comes in with one as well. Now RPK will come in and get a second with the M4 in hand, and it's all falling apart for FaZe. Alu, can he save them? No, he can't, because he's now going to go down, just leaving Kiyoshima in a 1 versus 4.
That was a timing nightmare. So unfortunate. All of those scenarios just bested because of just milliseconds that decided a fate. Kiyoshima trapped all in his lonesome here as well. They're aware of his position as he's over towards connector. Just trying to hold on to his life. This is so very awkward for him.
He does find one. Can't quite find the second though as RPK finishes it off and gets himself a 4K. Phenomenal stuff from RPK. And just what happened in the first half, after the pistol was won, the opposing team just shuts them down immediately, and it's now whether EnVyUs can press on from this and punish FaZe for that loss, as there is going to be a pause coming through here. I mean, what do you do if you're in this situation as a FaZe member, Jackie?
Well, that's the thing, you know, that round was kind of unfortunate. They played it out as you'd want them to. It was just more so when they lost that Ivy control, because the converge they went for, they all just pushed at the same time. Ivy control wasn't being held. They could slip straight in. They were able to backstab, and it was just a shame. You know, it was just great work from EnVyUs to being able to pick up that first frag, and such a shame that, you know, Rain was just caught with his pants down.
But how often does that happen in CS:GO? It's so unreal. Just when you pull a grenade out, just when you look away after you've been holding an angle for what seems like a century, that's when they burst through. It's one of those things that was very fortunate, but because Envy had bided their time slightly, because they just delayed that push, they were rewarded with a little bit of luck. And whether now that taste of luck can carry on through will remain to be seen. FaZe need to try and respond here, and there are going to be a lot of rifles to work with for Envy though.
We've got a lot on the board. You do have that Mac 10 over on RPK as well, so you can try and rack up a abundance of cash, a little bit of a bonus ball into this round. Elevated angles once again being utilised by FaZe though. Just trying to work off these close angles. Just hold, only really peek for information, and then just wait until they peek into you. Try and do damage with these pistols in close range combat.
Just don't get a grenade out and you might be alright. No, Karrigan! Oh, he's lucky this time. Does throw the smoke, is going to delay them ever so slightly, but he gets smoked off himself and manages to push ahead of it, but Envy are having none of it. They're going to back right off. And Envy don't need to rush in just yet. They're hoping that FaZe are going to make the first move. FaZe will make the mistake and might push out slightly aggressively, but Karrigan does push out, and Happy just wasn't ready for it. He gets M4 as a reward, so this is a good start from FaZe of getting back into this round, as now the rest of Envy are going to burst out onto B site, and the bomb's going to go down. It's going to have to be a retake for FaZe here.
Yeah, but let's see how this one will go. Sixer is on the scene of the crime trying to find these frags, but RPK will just be tearing them a new one as he just sprints around, spamming with this Mac 10, single-handedly dispatching anyone that comes his way. Waits for his next target though. He's going to have to go for the reload. Scream will find one frag. Karrigan though and Jacob start to go huge as they pick them off. It just falls onto XMS. He's in this elevated angle. Galil in hand, but can he do the damage? Will peek out. Shuts down Jacob. The burst up the ladder from Alu with a stolen Mac 10 to dispatch him. And FaZe, I think just in the nick of time, will be able to grab this round.
It's going to be so close.
Oh,
I don't get it. Ever so close. A millisecond sooner onto that bomb, and that's very different. So just about enough done there in heaven to delay them, and that's going to be painful to take after such a successful round for FaZe there.
That was absolutely dominant. Just crazy stuff that came out, and then it was the fact, obviously, that 1 second difference. Didn't have the kit, didn't quite go through. I was so convinced they had it at that point, but yeah, just slips away.
Now, full eco coming out for FaZe, so can they do anything equally as spectacular as the last round? They don't have the deagles to work with. Karrigan was able to get the jump on someone at Ivy last time, but he can't do it as Scream comes to the aid this time. Gets the Molotov down as well as they look for a second as they're going to push through Ivy now. Probably get aggressive here. They've got a lot of information. But RPK has found his way onto B site, so he'll be gathering information as well, saying, look, they're probably going to be stacking on A as Jacob picks up one onto Scream, but XMS comes in, finds two of his own, looks for the third onto Jacob, but Jacob's just going to dance around this wall, and just with the reload comes through, Jacob picks up the kill, so he will get rewarded with a weapon, as the rest of Envy now push onto the B site, and they're going to get this bomb down.
That bomb will be planted towards A. Happy will still be doing damage as well. Transfers that over on towards Alu, but they're going to run away and probably just try and hold on to these AKs, you would imagine.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. They are going to be careful, wary about that angles though, because Envy might want to hunt them down and try and stop them taking any extra weapons through to the next round, but good positioning from Envy to stop that from happening, from FaZe, sorry, to stop that from happening, as it is just going to be happy-go-lucky, pushing through, seeing if he can find anything. See if he can stop them bringing it through, but he's not going to have any of it. He doesn't want to throw away his AK either. Will be another round on the board for Envy, but a relatively good eco for FaZe, being able to come through with 2 AKs.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a fairly good save, so they will be able to get a full buyout into this round off the back of that, and distribute those weapons around and get themselves into a better spot. Now, what will they be able to achieve, though? Is this where they start to find their way back into it? Now they have the economy in their favour. Can they punish EnVyUs, or EnVyUs just keep this pain train steaming through?
Can they find their groove I'm hoping that Alu is going to be grooving his way through here. A lot of responsibility for him with the AWP. Hit a lot of shots yesterday, I've said previously. Can he do it again today as XMS is going to burst onto the A site? Relatively uncontested, no one's going to actually spot him, so he's going to be dangerous here. As Jacob pushes up to Electric, I don't know if he knows anyone's behind him. Does get the opening kill onto RPK, but RPK is going to be behind him. As Sixer takes down Jacob, it's 3-on-3, and XMS in a fantastic position, finds one, tries to get the spray through the smoke onto the Karrigan, but Kiyoshima comes to his aid, and now it's just Sixer left, all on his lonesome. I'm not sure they know where he is exactly.
Oh, Sixer in the back lines, tiptoeing through. He's going to try and play mind games with them here. If he just holds out and gets this frag off on towards Karrigan, this could still be a huge round for him. Has a minute left on the clock. Let's play it with patience, takes down Karrigan absolutely nicely, and he can try and work his way on towards the bomb site, get that planted. Only has to dispatch one more member in Kiyoshima. Can Kyo overpower him though? Was waiting, thinking that he might have worked his way through backlines up towards that A bomb site, but it has been the commit towards B.
Kiyoshima definitely capable of doing this though. If you wanted to rely on anyone from FaZe, I mean, you'd happily rely on Kiyoshima to do it. He's checking all of his angles though, starting to get a little bit frantic. Needs to do something relatively quickly, and it's probably guessed by now that he is up. I'm just going to tap the bomb, try and lure him out ever so slightly. As you can see, he's taking that angle and just looks away as Sixer peeks and sees that he's not defusing the bomb. No kit for Kiyoshima either, so this suddenly becomes pretty much unwinnable. Almost finishes him off, but Sixer will remain with 8 HP. Won't survive with his life though, because the bomb's going to explode. And that's an 11th on the board for Envy. So FaZe still, once again, so close yet so far.
Yeah, such a shame there. Obviously, that was a nice tag towards the end, but time wasn't anywhere near in his favour, so he did have to run away. And EnVyUs, a great way to try and keep this just ticking through. The only upside is FaZe had money to play with, and they also saved that AWP, so they can go for this secondary AWP setup. Karrigan, obviously the secondary AWP for the team, will whip it out. And let's see if this is going to be the difference maker here, if they'll actually be able to secure round 10 on the board, or if EnVyUs are just going to steamroll through and start to take a huge lead.
Yeah, I mean, if EnVyUs take this round, then I'm slightly concerned for FaZe, but if FaZe can continue with the double AWP setup, if they can bring them through into continuous rounds, then that's going to be very successful for them. We saw how well the double AWP setup worked for them yesterday, as Alu is going to be able to pick up the first one onto XMS, finds the second onto Scream as well. Can he find the third in RPK? No, he can just rely on Kiyoshima to find one, who finds two! What an incredible spray down from Kiyo there, finding the first down from Ladder, second onto Bomb Trainers. Happy is the last survivor here, and FaZe right back into it, Jackie.
Yeah, they weren't phased by those previous rounds. They were able to just work their way straight through, and it is going to be Happy left in a 1 versus 5 scenario here. He has the AK in hand, has a flashbang to play with, but the bomb is miles out of position. It is essentially irretrievable at this point, and he will probably just sit up here, find a little perch, try and tuck down. If he finds a couple of exit frags, fantastic, but the best case scenario is just try and hold on to that AK until the following round.
Alu stepping up when he needed to, getting those opening frags there, and, well, let's talk about that spray from Kiyo. Fantastically transferring from one to another. As FaZe aren't going to take any risks though, just holding all of their angles on B. They know how important it is to take through both of these AWPs and not let anything slip. So they'll be more than happy for Envy just to survive with a weapon. And there's the bank balance for you there, Jackie.
Yeah, as you can see the economy on that side. It's not as inflated as it was previously. And they had to just go their way through it as well. They had to shut him down here. They've done a great job. And this will get that 10th round on the board. It stops EnVyUs from bleeding out of control too much just yet. But they have to keep it up. Obviously, you've kept that double up set up. You have the advantage now in terms of the arsenal. They just have to rip their way through. It was Ali with a massive opener. This was the difference maker on towards the bomb site.
But Kiyo was there to support him as well. Kiyoshima and Alu were the two game changers yesterday. So I'm not entirely surprised that they're making a difference here on train against Envy as well. Envy now need to switch things up slightly. Just 2 AKs to work with, 1 Deagle, and then the pistols, Scream and RPK. I mean, I think I probably prefer Scream to have an AK here, but you know, if anyone can get kills with a pistol, it's probably him as well. He was hitting shots here, there, and everywhere earlier on as Karrigan taking this aggressive stance with the AWP. Can't quite get the connection though. And now we'll have to back off, and it's actually going to go for the flash peek instead, but no one that is there playing ball as he's going to get smoked off. And he's going to change his position ever so slightly, but the Molotov comes through to stop Envy bombarding through Ivy there. That's Jacob just on electric. Trying to suss out if anyone's coming through pop. And yes, they are. It's going to be RPK and walk straight into his bullets. Right through the wall. Can Rain see Happy here? Did he get any information? Did he hear him? That's what I wonder. He definitely sniffed something out. You can see by his crosshair placement, he is considering there is someone there. There's now Envy just deciding, plotting. Where do they go? What do they try?
Oh, Carrigan though. He is going to stop Sixer from trying anything here. No funny business as he comes in with that opener. Happy does respond, takes down Rain though. Carrigan had the angle covered so close, but yet so far couldn't quite land it. Will B-Hop into a reposition. Can he do the damage? Yes, he can. Jacob as well. Going to finish a couple of players towards the other side of the map, and they equalise the scoreline now.
Yep, and money not great for Envy now. He's going to have to be an eco. So you'd expect a 12th on the board for FaZe, but this is where they need to be careful. Just not allow Envy to surprise them and overwhelm them with a rush somewhere. Carrigan and Alu really need to continue their dominance with the AWPs here. As you can see now, there's several members just sprinting down Ivy. Are they going to go fast through here, or are they going to play it slow and just try and get a dink off with this Deagle? Carrigan should be able to pick at least one of them off. Oh, tags him down, just legs him. Can't quite finish it. That will be a warning shot. Tell them, you shall not pass. You better not be coming through here. If they do push, I think he should be able to find a kill here. At least one, if not two, but he misses. Just grazes the ear of RPK. RPK comes to play a little bit more, and now Rain's come to join the party as well. Scream and Happy do get frags for themselves, but they are in a 2 versus 3 situation here. And Scream just trying to tap away, but can't quite find anything just yet. Happy goes down as well, leaving Scream to remain as the lone survivor and only hope for Envy in this round. It's quite a slim hope, don't you think, Jackie?
Yeah, it's very true indeed. In 1 versus 3 like this, when the bomb is so far out of position, not much he can do as Kiyoshima picks him off as well there. And they're going to be sleeping their way through, starting to pick up that lead. This is huge stuff as EnVyUs, you know, it looked like they were starting to be dominant now. It looked like they were in the driving seat, and it's hit a rock in the road. They've slowed down, and they just can't find their way back into it. It is only a 1-round deficit though. They have time to play with. But can they change things up? Can they counter this double AWP setup coming out from FaZe?
Yeah, 2 rocks in the road, 2 AWPs, I'd say, as the fast push down pop does come through. XMS gets the opening onto Jacob, and they are going to flash themselves up, but Rain is there to get the trade accordingly, and can he find another? As he looks left, looks right, no one's there to play ball just yet, but does eventually pick up Scream. Happy then comes in, and Carrigan now has to go big with his AWP, needs to try and help. A double AWP setup is always good on train, but it's not good if you're left in a 2v3, but Alu gets the second now, and it's just Sixer remaining on his own.
Sixer, 1 versus 2 as he makes his way round. 1 minute 14 left on the clock. He has the bomb, and he has some utility play over here as well. They're not actually peeking right now. They're in some awkward angles. Oh, look at the trigger patience as he makes his approach up towards Alu. Is he actually going to try and go for the knife here? He's behind. Oh no, Sixer takes him down, bushes him, and then makes his way all the way over to B. Absolutely disgusting. And it is going to fall just onto Kiyoshima now as he makes his approach through. He will just be sprinting all the way, needs to try and take the fight.
Got to get that extra cash dollar as Kia is now going to push in. Unaware of the position of Sixer, of course. Does eventually spot him, but he can't get the spray down. Sixer with a fantastic 1v2 clutch. Just being able to surprise Alu in the back with a knife to the neck. And as you said, absolutely incredible trigger discipline there.
Yeah, that was really nice to see. Didn't overcompensate for anything. Was able to just play with patience, calm, cool, and collective as he went in and then sliced and diced upon the opposite opponent.
And they've got through that double AWP setup now, just the 1 on Alu. But I did feel like the double AWP slightly hindered them because the opening frags came onto 2 riflers, just leaving the AWPs. They really struggled on that A site. I mean, Alu did real work, but if only he had taken a different angle and wasn't caught off guard, it could have been very different as Kia is taking a very aggressive stance here, Jackie.
Yeah, in this elevated angle, just peering above the smoke, waiting to see if they're going to push in. Will actually reposition. Nate goes out, should transfer a fair amount of damage over, but will get stuck and actually tag upon anyone. And they start to make their approach now.
Stay on target. As Envy slowly edging their way through to B. Just trying to make FaZe second guess themselves, trying to make them rotate, but FaZe staying put at the moment. Flashes will come out, and the push onto B site is going to happen, but RPK's flashed himself, so he's going to hide away as Keo tries to spray onto 4 members, but does take XMS down extremely weak, down to 8 HP, but Sixer comes in and picks up his kill. So now Scream coming in, leaves a lot on Alu, finds the first, can he find a second, does have a grenade to work with, and thankfully Rain's there to help out today as well. So Happy, so much on him in this position. I don't think they're going to be aware of where he's coming from as he gets the opening onto Karrigan now, and he's going to be able to help his teammates. Can't get Alu though. Alu again, just picking up these frags, these really crucial frags with the AWP, just leaving Scream on his own. Rain finishes it off, and FaZe back on top once again.
Huge stuff coming out from FaZe into that round. It resets the economy of EnVyUs as well, and it's going to break them down. So unfortunately, this has been such a huge matchup that you can see EnVyUs, the drive behind them. They want to try and win this one. They're not going to let it slip away from them without a fight. But FaZe just keep coming back, just so resilient in their playstyle.
Perhaps something quick now from EnVyUs on this eco. You can see they're all just barreling their way down towards Ivy here. Karrigan, as usual, will be the defender here at Ivy. Has got a smoke to work with just to delay them. Are they going to push through it is the real question. They probably shouldn't. The element of surprise has caught Karrigan off guard a couple of times today. I'm sure he won't be wanting to get grenades out too often. We saw what happened earlier. So he is going to take an aggressive stance, and now they push through. Karrigan will just spray down ever so slightly. Can't get anything lethal though, but finds 2. And XMS and RPK will fall to his M4, leaving just Scream on his own. And elsewhere, Jacob picks up 2 of his own. Scream's left, can't get the deagle shots. And FaZe put their 14th on the board. I mean, a good attempt from Envy, always a difficult one. If you are just going to go slow and methodical like that with pistols, you can be punished by those rifles, of course.
Yeah, I mean, they had to just try something, you know, not really much they could do into that round as it was just the eco. But they tried their best, unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Now EnVyUs as well, the economy is coming back to bite them in the bum, as you can see, through rifleless players. They are stuck there just wielding those measly pistols. The nades are going to go out as well, won't actually transfer any damage, but will delay EnVyUs for a little bit as they're now scared to go for that push on towards Ivy.
I'm wondering if EnVyUs have kind of considered that Ivy's been a bit of the weakness for FaZe, as they do continuously send 2 or 3 members every single round, and they think they can overwhelm Karrigan. He's done fairly well throughout the game. There's only been a couple of rounds where he struggled, and they were mostly unfortunate moments, to be honest. He's going to push ahead of the smoke. Great position here. And with the smoke of his own, it means that no members of Envy are going to push into his crosshairs just yet.
Rain as well. You can see him waiting here, focusing, seeing if anyone is going to be coming towards him. But it looks like the play will once again be happening over towards Ivy. As they set up, they want to go for the boost over the top. But they peek out one by one. Karrigan allowed to get the first frag off, but Scream can retaliate, takes him down with that AK-47, and now they just have to burst out, try and pincer onto the site, overwhelm the CTs, make them focus on too many angles at once, but Alu will do damage. He takes down Scream. Jacob as well as he spams off on towards RPK. Kiyoshima will rail apart Happy. Sixer, last man left standing, but it won't work out for him this time around.
Alu loves that position on Bomb Train as well. I remember him doing it relentlessly yesterday. He picked up that, it was that 4K, wasn't it, that Alu got and almost got an ace ever so closely when they did face off against Heroic. He didn't get it in the end though, but at least it was close enough to get me excited, as now FaZe move into this possible final round. As you said, the economy wasn't great for Envy, so it's still not fantastic. Just 2 rifles once again in the hands of Sixer and XMS, and Scream is going to go fast down to Pop. Will burst out onto site, but Karrigan's there. Alu gets one of his own. XMS will trade, so there is possibly a chance, but no, Alu says that there is going to be no chance as he gets an AWP kill of his own, and now Sixer comes in to get one of his, and that will just leave Sixer on his own now. There is a possibility for him, but he's going to get sprayed down from behind, and FaZe take the map. And Envy did put up a great fight. At one point I thought it was going to be Envy's game, but in the end, FaZe were just too strong on their CT side. Yeah.
That is going to be another 16-12 scoreline coming out. You know, the same result they had against G2. They just, you know, it's weird. They looked like they had a few moments where they were starting to perform like the FaZe we expected to see. They were doing work, and then it just trickled away bit by bit towards the end there. They weren't able to quite get those frags out. Things slowed down a little bit for EnVyUs, and FaZe just dominated.
They did, and It took a while for Alu to get in his element, but I think the economy played a big part in that. Once he was able to string several rounds in a row with the AWP, start to get confident with it, then he was really hitting the shots, and they were difference makers, and he just frustrated EnVy, I feel, where there was a couple of rounds early on during FaZe's CT half where I thought that they weren't going to be able to get back into this because there was those diffusers that didn't quite come through because they didn't have those kits. I felt like they weren't going to get back into it. Then they did. A great 3 points, of course, for FaZe, and now that'll edge them up to the top of the table. They'll be joint with Mouse, I believe, on the 3 wins there. So great stuff from them. But then how does this transfer over to Dust 2, do you feel? Is it just going to be an absolute momentum slobber knocker and it's going to go in favour of FaZe, or do you think EnVy can bring this one back?
It's going to be interesting. Dust 2 for me is going to be where it'll be a little bit more aggressive, a bit more volatile. We're going to see a lot of just explosive style of CS from what I can imagine going into it. You know, EnVy looked good though. EnVy didn't seem... But, you know, it seemed like there was still more they can bring to the table, but they didn't look bad by any means. Once Sixer started performing as well, that was kind of the difference maker. You know, Sixer didn't perform as well as we needed him to in the original first half, and it was kind of just the scream show. Moving to that second half, it was more sort of, you know, it was fairly shed, the weight was lifted a little bit, and you could see how vital that was that he was actually able to pick up frags with that AWP, and also his rifling skills as well. He had that massive 1v1, the massive 1 versus 2 that allowed them to get another round on the board that actually gave them economy to play with. But that was this sort of the story as well for Ali, as you were saying. They didn't have economy in a lot of that for that first half for him to actually supplement getting the AWP out. And then when it came into the second half, they started to lock it down a bit. Had the economy to play, the double AWP setup came into play, and they just ran away with it.
They did run away with it indeed. So FaZe will take the opening map here, 16-12, as we are going to move across to Dust 2. But whilst we wait to get that game ready, we are going to go for a short break. So go get your coffees, your teas ready. We'll be back soon.